Hey everybody, welcome to the Pick 6 here. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 free agency moves as well as the top 5 worst free agency moves to date of March 12th, by the way. So you can't roast us on incorrect information. I've been talking with Craig here about our favorites here. So why don't we just jump on right into it with DeAndre Swift coming in at number 5 as the 5th worst free agency signing to date. DeAndre Swift comes into the Bears, coming in with a lot of guaranteed money the year after the league collectively decided they weren't going to be paying running backs. And they come in with this crazy $24 million contract on 3 years for a guy that has done well when healthy, but works the best in a tandem back situation is really my opinion. What do you think about that, Greg?
Yeah, I feel like they got pretty good production out of the running backs last year with Herbert and Roschon Johnson. So it seems a bit weird to go out and spend this kind of money on a running back. There's obviously a lot more question marks on that Bears team outside of running back. So I feel like they could have spent their money elsewhere. But I don't know. I guess if you're going to have a rookie quarterback or unproven quarterback, then you want to put as many weapons around him as possible. But I agree with you on that. The contract is just the weirdest part about it. The 4th worst free agent signing. It's the combination of the guard signings for the Rams. It seems weird. They retained Kevin Dotson. That was their guard from last year that played really well. And then Steve Avila, who played at left guard last year, he was a rookie, and he played pretty well. They had problems at the tackle positions, but their guard play was pretty solid. And then they went out and got Jonah Jackson, who's, a great player on his own, but $34 million guaranteed for somebody at a position where you don't really have the need seems a little bit odd. But the Rams seem to be in a weird place of limbo anyway, so not exactly sure what they're trying to do here, where they're going. It just seemed a bit strange for me.
LA is a weird place.
Yeah.
That'll bring us to number 3, another weird place, Jerry Jones's head. He has been quoted to say they're going all in 2024. No movement as of yet. Tuesday, March 12th.
The only movement seems to be negative movement. They lost their running back. Didn't sign another running back, despite all of the running backs that were out there. People thought, they might be getting Derrick Henry, maybe Aaron Jones, but they pretty much whiffed on both of those. So I don't know what the plan is there. Doesn't really seem like there's many running backs out there that are available. My only guess is that they're planning on drafting somebody. But yeah, I don't know. Even outside of that, they just haven't done a single thing.
They have been quoted to say that Zach Moss's $8 million for 2-year price tag was too much money. So they were intrigued by his prospect, but $4 million a year, a little too much for them. That's a little bit interesting what's going on there.
Yeah, despite paying Zeke $400 million a year.
Right, they're still paying him, I think.
Speaking of running backs, Devin Singletary to the Giants. Don't really have thoughts on anything that the Giants have done. We'll get to another one of their signings later, but they lost Saquon. They chose not to re-sign Xavier McKinney and decided that Devin Singletary was the next best option, despite losing his job in Buffalo multiple times and then basically losing his job in Houston to nobody. He was part of a 4-person running back group that didn't really do a whole lot, despite having a really good quarterback and a really good offensive line. So don't imagine he's going to be super productive in New York. I know that they're not paying him a ton of money, but it just kind of seems like a weird move there, especially after they let Saquon walk and go to a division rival to run for 200 yards a game on them the 2 times they play.
On to another broken play merchant, you could say, with Gardner Minshew coming in, topping our list for the number 1 for the worst free agency grabs here. It's not the player because he is a formidable competition quarterback, if you could say. Say you're bringing in Justin Fields too, say you're bringing in a rookie. I don't know what the hell their plan is now. But the fact that they're paying him $20 million just makes you wonder if they think they're getting a discount for a starting caliber superstar quarterback that threw these inside shoulder of a wide receiver instead of the outside to get a first down. What do you think?
I don't know. Well, I met him one time when I was working at a Mexican restaurant here in Dallas. He came in with one of his buddies, and he didn't tip me very well. So he was a cool guy, but he didn't tip me very well. And I was expecting to get a NFL. It was right after, like, he was on the Eagles. It was the year after he was on the Eagles, and they went to the Super Bowl. And I was like, oh, like, I know, like, he just lost in the Super Bowl, but he just also collected a paycheck for being in the Super Bowl. Like, maybe I'll get a little bit of a tip. And that was not the case. But I don't know. The Raiders, I don't know how they have more money left. They're paying like 4 coaches at the same time right now. So I would think they would just take the cheapest quarterback they could get, which realistically would have been probably Justin Fields. He's still on that rookie deal. And at this point, it doesn't seem like you'd have to give up much more than like a 3rd-round pick. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not like Gardner Minshew is some sort of like elite veteran mentor or anything like that. Maybe he is, but yeah, seems a little bit rich for a guy like Gardner Minshew, who they basically said is going to be the backup anyway. I will say he is fun. Like the Raiders haven't had a fun quarterback in forever, really, and he's at least fun. So maybe, yeah, I agree with you. Kind of a weird signing there. What's the deal with Jimmy G? Is he still playing football?
I mean, he doesn't ever have to play football a day in his life again with how much money he's robbed from these franchises. It's nice to see the Raiders getting a taste of the Chargers' medicine.
Honestly, like, why not just go get Jameis Winston? He's getting paid significantly less money to be Deshaun's backup, and he's a significantly better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. And he's fun. Dude, I want to see Jameis succeed. Now I've run into the problem where I don't know if I should root for Jameis Winston to start or not start because he's on my team. But I wish he was somewhere else so I could root for him to start every week. But Minshew the worst, Devin Singletary second, the Cowboys doing nothing third, Rams with Jonah Jackson and Kevin Dotson, and then DeAndre Swift. At number 5, we combined Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans here. So if we were doing combos, it'd be like the best, but kind of had to knock him down since it is a 2-for-1 here. Being able to keep Mike Evans around, I think, is big time, especially for Baker. They seem to have that connection last year. And, now it's nice to go into the offseason not having to worry about your quarterback. There's a lot of teams out there that have question marks at quarterback, and the Bucs seem like they've kind of found their guy. They are paying him quite a bit of money, but for what he did last year, I think he earned it. And being able to keep Mike Evans around as well is big time for Baker and then that whole fan base and team in general.
This is the most stable situation Baker's had, and his 2 more stable situations, he's really balled out and been able to make the throws that people have been really judgmental about in the past to him not being able to make. We saw him make them this year. It's just a matter of can he consistently do it. I hope to see a step up in this next year because I'm really excited to see this tandem. They really did well. And have Mike Evans respect you, a guy who's played with Tom Brady. Hey, that's pretty good. All right, then coming up next would be number 4. We have the Brian Burns signing by the Giants. There's a reason the Panthers reportedly turned down multiple first-round picks from the Rams for Brian Burns back in 2022. Weirdly enough to let him walk this year. But top 15 edge rushers in their prime are hard to find. Only 8 sacks last year after 12.5 in 2022. Hopefully he's going to rebound. That's what I'm thinking. What are you thinking, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's, one of the more premier edge rushers in the league. And the Panthers turning down that trade offer just to accept a far worse trade offer this year is a very odd move, but really good move for the Giants. They really got a steal there with being able to get him at such a discount and, work out a new contract for him. So the Giants have been doing a lot of weird things, but at least they got another guy to go opposite of Kayvon Thibodeau and hopefully shore up that defensive line a little bit.
Definitely would rather have him than Christian Wilkes at $110 million a year. Raiders.
Yeah, I agree with that one. This one hurts. This one hurts a lot. Patrick Queen at number 3. I really like Patrick Queen, and it was already hard for me to see him on the Ravens because I do really like him as a player, and he's such a good player. But to see him go within division to our biggest rival, the Steelers, it hurts. But, we've seen what the Steelers are able to do with defensive players, especially, having a guy in the middle of the field that can really shore things up when there's questions in that secondary there. And then you've got, obviously, a good defensive line with T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward. I don't know if he's going to be there anymore, but they've got for a team with an already very strong defense, being able to add another premier linebacker in there and somebody to strip the middle of the field, help with the rush, because TJ Watt doesn't want to play defense on run plays, but Patrick Queen will do that for him. So really good signing for them, but not looking forward to have to play him twice a year.
It's always a heartbreak when they go to a division rival, man, especially when, like you said, you know how good they can be. Moving next to number 2, we have Kirk Cousins having a career year after snapping his Achilles in 2. Can he come back from that injury? Is he walking into a good situation in Atlanta with the signing, with that much guaranteed money of a guy coming off an injury? I mean, what do you think of these circumstances here?
Kirk Cousins' agent needs to go into the Hall of Fame. Like, the amount of money that Kirk Cousins has made, I think somebody was doing the math. He's made over $400 million in his career. He's obviously a good quarterback. Like, I wouldn't say he's a top 5 quarterback. He's top 10, I would say, pretty much every year. But $400 million is crazy. Like, that's significantly more money than Tom Brady ever made in his career. But, I mean, it's a great situation for him. That offense can be so fun. They were just missing a quarterback. I think, you have Kyle Pitts, obviously. Maybe they'll actually let him catch the ball this year. I don't know. And then you have Matt Collins, who looked like he could have been having a good year last year until they realized their quarterback didn't know how to pass. And then Drake London, obviously, is electric as well, with Bijan in the backfield and Tyler Algier, Cordero Patterson. Like, that offense is loaded with talent. And the division's pretty wide open. I know the Bucs looked pretty good last year. Obviously, I'm sure the Panthers are looking to bounce back, but I don't see the Saints being much competition. I don't think the Bucs really got better. I would say the Falcons have definitely taken the biggest jump in terms of what they needed and what they were able to get. So I would say things are looking up for the Falcons, but you can never be too confident with the Falcons. And that brings us to number 1. I think we went with Chris Jones. I think it's hard to really – I know he's technically a free agent signing, but he's really just being re-signed by the Chiefs. So it makes it a little bit harder. It's not like somebody went out and made a huge splash stealing him from another team. But he was the focal point of that defense last year. If you look at the team splits with him on the field and with him not on the field the first couple of weeks, and then obviously how big of an impact he had in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, things like that. They being able to keep him around is going to be massive for that defense, and really sets them up nicely to put themselves in good position to run it back again next year. I don't know how it goes, but I do want to give a shout out to the Vikings and Sam Darnold. I wasn't bold enough to put him on the list of the top 5, but I've been a Sam Darnold guy since he came in the league. He's never really had a chance. He had 2 of the worst situations you could possibly be in, and I think the talent's there. And I'm intrigued. I think he could do really well in Minnesota and really, revive his career, kind of like Baker did with the Bucs there. So we'll see what happens, but I just wanted to put that out there. And if he ends up being really bad this year, nobody clip that. But if he is really good, then I just want it on record that I was possibly right.
Yeah.